One night at 10 p.m., my lovely African wife wakes me up from a dead sleep. Sweetheart, come outside. Come to the door. There's emergency. I follow her. Okay. Come to the door. There's my lawyer, my advocate, who's also our neighbor from 2 doors down. He's about 60 years old in a very assertive tone, pointing to the right. Jonathan, come with me immediately to my house. Just follow. There's no time. I follow him to his house. Inside his house, to my shock, I see our third neighbor. We'll call her Mama Lania. And Mama Lania is screaming and gesturing wildly, saying, I will kill Lania. She is my child. Give her to me. Give her to me now. I will kill. 3 times distinctly, I heard her threaten to kill her own little toddler girl, Lania. And I see my lawyer's wife in the bedroom close the door and sheltering little Lania. And my lawyer says she has already been kicking her. Outside, we found her kicking her across the compound. And as an officer of the court, I instruct you, Jonathan, to restrain her physically on the couch right there. So I did. I put my knee in her back, having heard her threaten her own child's life 3 times, and my lawyer advocate, having never led me wrong, he's a senior advocate in this country, I restrained her until the police came, and they treated her much more roughly than I did. I restrained her very easily. I'm a large man. She's not a large woman. That is Mama Lania. And she went to jail. In the end, my lawyer convinced me, along with him, to not press charges. We just called her family. They intervened without anyone being convicted. I was for pressing charges. But in the end, the family stepped in and took care of it. And Lania has now grown up and is healthy. Thanks be to God. I bring up this story, which was very strange and traumatic, but this sort of thing happens more than you might imagine. And if you count the little babies killed by abortion, the little preborn babies by their mothers, that's the most likely way any person is to be killed, by his own mother in utero. There's a reason God put the man in charge in the Garden of Eden. Yes, men kill, and we think of wars and the violence that men exercise toward one another and their families gets headlines. But the more voluminous violence of women toward their preborn children doesn't get the headlines, except God knows it. If women had the upper body strength of men, we'd probably not have survived as a human species, mankind, for 100 years. God knew what he was doing when he used triage in the Garden of Eden to give the man rule and strength. Now, this is the insanity that I want to talk about the pro-life movement. Yes, we love the women who have been forgiven and confessed their sin of abortion. However, why all across the world, and it's been exported to Africa, are the post-abortive women treated as experts? That is like me. Let's imagine if there's a man who had beaten up 100 women and served time in prison for beating women to within an inch of their lives. And he's the only one who's qualified. Imagine him speaking and saying, no one can question me. I am the only person qualified to speak with authority to the Women's Violence Association, the Battered Women's Association. This is insanity.